Hello everyone, my name is Roman Fianta. It is my first time in Romania, Alex, despite my name. Despite my name, it's my first time. I'm leading the time tracking category at AppFire, and I still cannot pronounce it. I'm very glad to be here. Today we're going to talk about something, as Alex already said, something that affects everyone in this room, I believe, and that is time. I'm going to say time a lot in this presentation, I believe. I think I stand a chance on breaking a world record in saying the word time in one single presentation. I decided to measure it, actually, because I like to measure things. So every time I say time, two times now, I'm gonna increase my timer here. So let's see how far we go. All right, in case you don't know AppFire, here are some numbers. I'm not going to read over this. I think the time is running there, so I'm going to move forward. Let me start with a story. I used to work in a company where support specialists were asked to track how many hours they spent on tickets when they were closing these tickets. That's quite a usual thing to do. So I asked them, do you then use this data for something? No. So is there some manager or somebody who checks these reports and uses this valuable data, how much time people spend, people spend on things? No, there's nobody. So why do you track time then? Silence. There's no shame in that. I think there are many companies that operate like this, but I think there's a better way. Today I'd like to walk you through this better way. I'd like you to walk away with some practical examples how tracking time can benefit you and your company. I wanted to poll audience if you track time, but you already stole my thunder. Alex, where are you? So maybe I'll just ask, do you track time in your company? Do you track time, or do people in your companies track time? Can you show me your hands? Wow, that's like half of the room, I think, or at least the half that I can see. Keep your hands up. You already put them down. Keep your hands up if you track time directly on Jira tasks, if you track time in Jira. Okay, and keep your hands up if you are using a native Jira time tracking for that, or a native, or a third-party app. Kind of? Yeah, maybe we can talk later. All right, we also track time at AppFire, not in every team, but in many teams. And time, I think, yeah, I'm losing count. 10 times? If you track time, I believe there are valid reasons for doing so. Alex, do I have you somewhere? Yeah. Can we get some use cases from the audience, like one or two people share why they track time?
Hi, so we track time for billable hours, so I'm a freelancer, and trying to understand how much time is usually taking a task and how much faster we are now with AI.
Okay, yeah, that's a great use case as well. Thank you. So yeah, there are already some examples. I believe I could hear some more if I ask more people. So yeah, I really believe that there are valid reasons for tracking time. So why is that time tracking is still often considered this tool for micromanagers to stalk on their employees? First of all, objectively, there are companies that really work this way. Either they need to or they want to. But then there are these companies like the one I mentioned in the example that track time, but they are not using these data. I'm not talking about these two examples, but there are companies like the one I mentioned when really time is tracked, but then never used. So what to do with that? Well, first advice is if you don't utilize time tracking data, then don't do it. Just don't track time, because it's just a waste of time. Not every company needs to do this. For example, if you're a part of a small startup in a team tightly working together, I think you can avoid it altogether. But as the company grows, it necessarily brings these operational inefficiencies, like mentioned by, I think, Lawrence earlier today, more complicated communication, and the need for transparency. Also, together with this, the necessity of planning due to cross-department communication and collaboration arises, and that's where time tracking, if done right, helps. Another example is when a professional services company works for multiple clients and they need to track billable time. Now that we know why this matters, let's go over several of the top use cases for business teams. I will not go. I will demonstrate each of these. I'm going to use AppFire apps for the demonstration, namely 7-Pace Time Tracker, Big Picture, and Dashboard Hub. But many of these cases can be achieved using different tools as well. I'll start with the level of teams and individuals. I hope you can see it right. Teams often struggle to understand how effective they are and what's holding them back. They know their allocated time slipped somewhere, but they cannot put the finger on where that was. Elita earlier today mentioned or showed how data can help you understand the context. So like here, if you track time together with time tracking categories like meetings, development, etc., either on task level or on a work log level, this can help your teams understand how much productive time they were able to spend in the past. Like in this example, you can see how much time you spent actually on meetings and can do something about that and adjust your planning for the future. Another use case I'd like to mention is capacity planning. Here the challenge is that people managers aren't able to quickly view and verify capacity of their teams. If you try to use native Jira functionality for this use case, you may agree with me that it can become quite complicated to get this data quickly. But when you give managers a tool to view individual capacity on quickly, they can see signs that can help them, for example, reallocate. This is like below, above, or on track capacity. You can see the details, and you can reallocate work from one person to another. So when you have, when this is simple, there's a much higher chance of utilizing such data and doing some timely action. Moving up from the individual and teams level to managing projects. So even though many companies adopted agile development, projects are still present around us. For example, launching a brand new app or migrating a customer from DC to cloud. That's why we need to track project progress. And when there's a lack of visibility into project timelines and how resources are consumed, it's difficult. But when we monitor actual versus estimated time, we can understand if our project is on track. I think I'm going to play the slide. This example shows how time tracking allows you to monitor project progress and in real time, and this allows you to see a problem before it becomes a problem. You can drill down to the very low level, but you can still see the higher level, like total time tracked, total weeks tracked, etc. All right, at the beginning of the presentation, I mentioned that time, I keep forgetting, time affects everyone. What is another thing that affects everyone? I think it's money, unfortunately. Both are a limited resource, therefore it makes sense to measure both. So I'm going to tell you something about budgets, billable, time, and CapEx, OpEx. Let's start with budgets. Once we are done with the tedious work of agreeing on a budget with a client, the project kicks off, and we find ourselves in a place where we need to track project progress, track the assigned budget, I meant. That can be hard if you don't track time. As Sherlock said, you need to have data to construct your theories, not the other way around. When you do track time, you can see if you're on track or if you need to adjust. So you have a team hourly rate or project hourly rate, and when you track time, this rate immediately, like the time tracked multiplied, but this hourly rate is directly shown in the, maybe I'll show the screenshot, is directly shown here, so you can track whether your project budget is above or below, whether you need to negotiate a new budget with a client or not. Another use case connected to money is billable time. Not all time tracked on project is billable. Of course, you can have some technical debt, stuff like that. If you are able to quickly pull billable time, this can streamline your invoicing. You simply select, filter, export, send it to a client. It makes these conversations much easier because you have hard evidence. You are not talking about feelings, you are talking about the work that was actually done. And the last financial use case I'm going to talk about is CapEx, OpEx, like capitalizable expenditures, operational expenditures. So moving a level up to like CFO level, let's say. Distinguishing between these can be important, for example, because of taxes. So it means that these are important numbers, and it's really, and you want to get these right. The typical rules for recognition of CapEx, OpEx can be based on like per project level or per task level, or at the lowest level with the greatest detail per time category. So to accurately attribute your work to CapEx, OpEx, you need to track time and either connect this time to the other platform data or categorize the time itself. Of course, you'll need to be able to pull the data quickly and export it. In this example, you can see the breakdown and based on tasks, and you have the possibility again to drill down to see the details. I think these are all the use cases I wanted to mention. I hope you found this somewhat useful, inspirational. In case you are interested in how these reports will build, if you can replicate it yourself, just stop by at our booth. And I think that's it. If you want to start, I think if you don't track time yet, it's better to start with one team. You can use native Jira time tracking, but then as the team grows, choose some third-party app for like more capabilities. Yeah, plus if you get our app, you'll get some extended trial for free, like 3 months, because we are still pretty new. Are there any questions?
Let's hear them out. A quick pick of 1 or 2 questions, thoughts. Do we still have left in the room? Who here wants to say his share?
Hey, I'm Andrei.
Hey.
With your app, can I log time for my colleague who is lazy?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
Problem solved.
Yeah, I'm Anna. I own a digital marketing company, so basically I don't work with tech and so on, but I'm curious about. So for now, for our team, that we have like 6, 7 members, we don't track time. So for me, it's like something new to find out here. So the presentation was smooth, but yeah, I don't apply it to my team because it's a small company.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. As I said, if you're a small team tightly working together, you probably don't need it.
Give it up for Anna, Andrei, and most importantly for Roman to be sharing his insights about time tracking.